So hello everyone, myself Moksh Jain and I'll be teaching you. तो मैं आपको आज पढ़ाऊंगा कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबर, ठीक है। तो कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबर्स पढ़ने से पहले मैं ये अज्यूम करके चलता हूँ कि आपको कुछ चीज़ें पता है, जैसे रियल नंबर्स क्या होते हैं, ठीक है। रियल नंबर्स पता है तो आपको पता होनी चाहिए कि नंबर लाइन क्या होती है, ठीक है। और क्या क्या पता होना चाहिए, खैर मतलब उसकी जो बेसिक चीज़ें हैं, मतलब आपको 10th तक ये चीज़ें पता होनी चाहिए कि रियल नंबर्स क्या होते हैं, एडिशन, सब्ट्रैक्शन, मल्टीप्लिकेशन, डिवीजन, उनकी प्रॉपर्टीज, एसोसिएटिव प्रॉपर्टीज और ये सब, ठीक है। तो मोटा मोटा तो यही है, पर मुझे आपको ये पता होना चाहिए कि कार्टेशियन प्लेन और ग्राफ्स क्या होता है, ठीक है। तो देयर इज नथिंग मोर यू नीड टू नो व्हेन यू लर्न कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबर्स if you are beginner in this course, okay. So for complex numbers, let me write this heading: complex numbers. हम जैसे किसी रियल नंबर को प्लॉट करते हैं ना, तो हमारे रियल नंबर्स कौन कौन से होते हैं। अगर कोई नंबर रियल होगा तो हमें पता है कि रियल नंबर्स में होल नंबर्स आते हैं, नेचुरल नंबर्स आते हैं, रैशनल नंबर्स आते हैं, इरेशनल नंबर्स आते हैं, इंटीजर्स कहें, इंटीजर्स भी आ जाते हैं, बट ठीक है, डजेंट मैटर्स। और इनमें भी फिर हम पढ़ते हैं रिकरिंग, नॉन रिकरिंग, टर्मिनेटिंग, नॉन टर्मिनेटिंग, ठीक है। फिर हम उन्हें नंबर लाइन में प्लॉट करते हैं, राइट। हम उन्हें कहाँ प्लॉट करते हैं, नंबर लाइन में प्लॉट करते हैं। अब दिस रियल नंबर्स आर आइडेंटिफाइबल ऑन अ कार्टेशियन प्लेन, राइट। व्हाट आई वांट टू से इज कि किसी नंबर को अगर हम 1D पर रिप्रेजेंट कर रहे हैं, राइट, सपोज दिस इज वन ऑफ माय प्लेन, जहाँ पर मुझे पॉइंट करना है पॉइंट 1। इफ दिस इज माय ओरिजिन 0, तो आई कैन पॉइंट 1 हियर, राइट, दिस इज 1। बट व्हाट इफ दैट नंबर इज नॉट रियल, that is something which cannot exist in this world, right? So उस केस में क्या करेंगे, उस केस में हम इंट्रोड्यूस करते हैं कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबर्स, राइट। और कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबर का जो ओरिजिनेशन हुआ, वो ओरिजिनेशन हुआ है फ्रॉम द टर्म डायमेंशंस। व्हेन यू एंटर इनटू डायमेंशंस, then you can define various numbers also in such dimensions, and those numbers are called to be complex numbers, okay. तो जैसे for example I have one number 1 plus iota 2 iota, okay. So suppose this is a number, so this has two segments. You can notice one of a new term I am introducing is iota. This is called iota. What is iota, okay. So iota is one of a basic term in complex numbers, which is having a value iota is equal to under root minus 1. Now whole complex numbers are based on this iota is equal to under root minus 1. How? Because हमें जैसे पता है कि जैसे अगर रियल नंबर होते हैं तो उसमें बेसिक से बेसिक जो चीज़ होती है वो होती है 1, राइट, मतलब विच इज़ वन ऑफ द मोस्ट यूनिक एलिमेंट, राइट, दैट इज 1। वैसे ही अगर हम कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबर इंट्रोड्यूस करते हैं तो उसमें जो इमेजनरी पार्ट है उसका जो यूनिट एलिमेंट होगा वो 1 है, आयोटा है, ओके। तो हम उसी को रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं। नाउ आई विल ट्राई टू एक्सप्लेन यू कि कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबर को कार्टेशियन प्लेन में कैसे रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं। लेकिन अगर हम एक्यूरेट टर्म में बोले तो कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबर्स के लिए कोई कार्टेशियन प्लेन होता ही नहीं। कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबर के लिए जो प्लेन होता है उस प्लेन को हम बोलते हैं आर्गन प्लेन। क्या कहते हैं? आर्गन प्लेन। नाउ सी, कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबर्स आर ऑन आर्गन प्लेन एंड कॉम्प्लेक्स, एज आई सेड यू कि अब हमने एक नंबर लिया था जैसे a is equal to 2 plus iota 3, okay. So this is a complex number and it is having two parts. What are the two parts? This is a real part and this is the imaginary part, okay. So how is real and imaginary part identified? The part which is not having iota in its simplest form is called the real part, and part which is having iota in the simplest form is the non real part, मतलब imaginary part. तो हमारा इस केस में देखो रियल पार्ट कौन सा है 2 है और इमेजिनरी पार्ट कौन सा है 3 है ना. तो ऐसे करते करते हम जब नंबर्स को आइडेंटिफाई करते हैं तो हम उन्हें आर्गन प्लेन पर प्लॉट कर सकते हैं. नाउ व्हाट इज एन आर्गन प्लेन? तो हमने बोला ना कि जैसे कार्टेशियन प्लेन होता है वैसे आर्गन प्लेन होता है, राइट. तो कार्टेशियन प्लेन, हम आर्गन प्लेन को ड्रॉ करेंगे तो वो भी कार्टेशियन प्लेन जैसा ही दिखता है. तो कुछ ऐसा दिखता है, देखो. दिस इज रियल एक्सिस एंड दिस इज इमेजिनरी एक्सिस. अब नाउ व्हाट इज रियल एक्सिस? ऐसा ही सेट की जैसे रियल एक्सिस पे क्या होंगे 1 2 3 ऐसे नंबर्स होंगे 1 2 3 4 5, राइट. -1 -2 -3 -4. तो वैसे ही इमेजिनरी एक्सिस का जो बेसिक एलिमेंट है वो आयोटा है, जैसे मैंने आपको पहले कहा. तो मेरे लिए आयोटा यहाँ पर हो जाएगा, वैसे ही 2 आयोटा, वैसे ही 3 आयोटा, वैसे ही 4 आयोटा. इधर क्या हो जाएगा माइनस आयोटा, इधर -2 आयोटा, इधर -3 आयोटा, इधर -4 आयोटा एंड सो ऑन. तो ऐसे करते करते हम अब नंबर प्लॉटिंग करते हैं. तो हमारा नंबर क्या है 2 + आयोटा 3. नाउ वॉच दिस, वेयर इज 2 एंड वेयर इज आयोटा 3? So you can see that 2 is the real part, so I can find 2 here, and 3 is the imaginary part, so I can find 3 iota here. So if I don't write iota also it's okay, but to make it understandable ki this is an imaginary part, so I am writing iota. If you want to exclude iota, then you have to write imaginary here, okay. So here is 2 and here is 3, so I can plot a number here. So this point is a point and this is 2 plus iota 3, okay. So this is how we can plot a number on a complex number on an argon plane, okay. So this is one of the basic thing I have taught you. Now I will teach you how to add complex numbers, okay. So I hope you have learned vectors in your 11th class, like you have studied na that. No, okay, 11th class is having complex number, no problem. But I try to make you understand what are vectors. Let me consider it ki you know what are vectors, okay. So you know vectors are having directions like I cap, j cap, and if a vector is written as 1 I cap plus 2 j cap, and b vector is written as 2 I cap plus 3 j cap, right. So a vector plus b vector can be written as 3 I cap plus 5 j cap, where we are adding component wise. Similarly, we can add complex number component wise. That is, if I am having a number a is equal to 2 plus iota and b is equal to 2 minus iota, okay. So in this case I can add the number real to real and imaginary to imaginary. So if I want to write what is a plus b, then that is be 2 plus iota plus 2 minus iota, that is 2 plus 2 plus iota minus iota. That can be written as 2 plus 2 plus iota common 1 minus 1, right, because 1 into iota is iota, okay. So I am taking out iota outside, that is 4 iota into 0, and 0 into anything is 0. So I have the answer 4, right. So you can take various examples. Let me take you to a subtraction thing. I'll subtract these both numbers and I'll get you to point, right. So 2 plus iota minus 2 minus iota. Now if I do this operation wise, then that is both 2 cancels and these are 2 iota, okay. So this is one of the thing. Now let me take you to a very basic thing, how are complex number being formed and how are they being formed and plotted on the graph. Like everything has a sense now. So I'll tell you one point 2 comma 1, right. So this is 1 point, okay. This is my argon plane, okay. So imaginary and real part. Now I consider one point 2 comma 1. So this is a point 2 comma 1, right? This point 2 comma 1 is having a finite distance, right? Isn't it? It is having a finite distance r from origin. Let me mark this as A, this is O. So my length of OA is r, okay? And it is on a theta degree anti-clockwise from the x-axis. So now you know that we can do components of this. You have studied this in your physics part, right? So this is r cos theta, this is r sin theta. If I mark this, so this is r cos theta, this is r sin theta, sorry. This is r sin theta and this is r cos theta, right? So if I see that this length and this length, so triangle OAB, triangle OAB, I can see that, what I can see, that OB square plus OA square, BA square is equal to OA square, right? So r square cos square theta plus r square sin square theta is equal to r square. So I can verify that r square is equal to r square, right? So what I want to say is कि we can express our complex numbers into polar coordinates. So how are we doing this? So here is my methodology to express complex numbers into polar coordinates. So I'll explain you some of the terms here. Okay. So r, you can see r is the length of the line from O and A. So we call it r, mod r, because it is a length. And mod r can be written as x square plus y square, where x is the real part and y is the imaginary part. So what is mod r defines? Mod r defines the distance of a point from origin. Okay, this is mod r. And we have introduced one more term, theta, here. That is known as argument. Okay, now what is argument? Argument is the angle which a point makes from anti-clockwise from the x-axis, right, to the distance line, this r line. Okay, so हमारे पास ये चीज है. अब हम थीटा निकालने के लिए क्या करेंगे? देखो, अब ट्रायंगल बताया था, तो ट्रायंगल में tan थीटा क्या है? y by x. y by x मतलब this is y and this is y, right? Okay, I have to tell you, this is y and this is x. Okay, this is y by x. So theta will be tan inverse y by x. Okay, note this. Y is this one part and this is x part. Okay, so tan inverse y by x. So how can we determine argument? That is tan inverse 1 by 2. ठीक है? So theta will be tan inverse 1 by 2. Okay, so this was a basic thing. Arguments are of two types: principal argument and general argument. But I have to tell you this in some later class because we have to understand more concepts here. So I'll tell you how to write a complex number into a polar coordinate number. Okay. So again, I have told you what were our things. So we require again a plane here. This is a point A and this is a line. This is r cos theta and this is r sin theta. And we have also assumed that this was y and this was x. So I can see that x is equal to r cos theta and y is equal to r sin theta. Now watch this. What I'm getting is कि I am able to find r by under root of x square by y square, right? And theta by tan inverse of y by x. I'll teach you what are principal arguments and general arguments if I get the time in 20 minutes. But just assume the first value of theta you can consider in this tan inverse y by x is theta. Okay, so no problem. So this was theta, right? So अब हमारा theta आ जाएगा, right? So let me change this point to 1, 1. Okay, this is a point 1, 1. Now if I want to write this 1 comma 1 into polar coordinates, so how would I write? So my point was a is equal to 1 plus 1 iota, right? So I have r. How to find r? R can be 1 plus 1, that is under root 2, right? And 1 square plus 1 square. Okay. Theta would be tan inverse of 1 by 1, that is pi by 4, right? So I have a theta which is 1 pi by 4 from this axis, and the length of this is 1, right? So my point will be lying here. Obviously 1 comma 1 lies on the this diagonal, exact diagonal of y equal to on y equal to x line, y equal to x line. So it will be in the symmetric between the x-axis and y-axis, right? So I have theta. Now how can I write any number a is equal to x plus iota y, right? So my x was r cos theta and y was r sin theta, right? So this is r was 1 root 2 and cos pi by 4 plus iota sin pi by 4. I hope everybody gets this, right? So this was one of our basic things, that how to write a complex number into a polar coordinate form. Okay, so this is one of my basic thing I have taught you. Now let's go to some another concept of complex number. Okay, I have this thing. I'll explain some terminologies related to iota. Okay, so this is the ending part of my video. So I have told you my iota was under root minus 1. So I will teach you multiplication of complex number. Basically I have taught you addition, subtraction, locating complex number on a Argand plane, and I'll teach you how to locate how to multiply a complex number. Okay, so this is my iota is equal to minus 1. Now let us compute iota square, that is minus 1 into minus 1, that is minus 1, obviously. Okay, how? If somebody has doubt, then this is his answer, की पावर 2. So ये दोनों कैंसिल हो जाएंगे, तो माइनस 1 आ जाएगा. फिर आयोटा क्यूब क्या हो जाएगा? आयोटा स्क्वायर इंटू आयोटा, दैट इज minus 1 into iota, that is minus iota. Now I calculate this thing, that is iota square, that is 1 minus 1 into minus 1, that is 1. So now you have observed this. Now I'll write it in a simpler manner. It's noted down, but I'll write here. This is iota, this is minus 1, this is minus iota, and this is 1. Okay. So you can notice it that iota 4 is 1. If you compute iota 5, you will get iota. If you compute iota 6, you will get minus 1. If you compute iota 7, you will get minus iota. If you compute iota 8, you will get 1. So you'll notice that on every multiple of 4, you will get, what you will get? You will get 1. Iota to the power iota to the power minus 4 is also 1. Iota to the power minus 8 is also 1. So if somebody tells you compute iota to the power 100, okay, what is iota to the power 100? You don't need to compute iota 1, iota 2, iota 3, iota 4, iota 5, but just bifurcate it in this form. This is 1 to the power 25, this is 1, right? So this was the thing. Now how, if somebody tells you to compute iota to the power 101, so what will you do? Iota 100 into iota, that is 1 into 1. Okay, iota 4 into 25 into iota, that is, what is this? This is iota. तो समझ में आया? बस यही है, इजी चीज़ है, बट इसके आगे हम कल पढ़ेंगे. तो this was my basic thing I taught you. Okay, so I hope you understand this little bit thing. This was a fast type one, तो थोड़ा ज़्यादा practice नहीं कर पाए, but it's okay. I hope you got this. You got an idea here. Thank you so much.